Our first presentation with the startup is Tommy Healing Center and Wellness Center. Gene Massey will be presenting from Media Shares as their spokesman. Thank you.
First of all, I'd like to thank Dan and his wonderful organization for the opportunity to be here today. Let's see if we can make the slides work. I press the green. Well, that's, how many here have ever had acupuncture? Good percentage of people. What I'm going to show you today is highly disruptive to the acupuncture and acupressure industry. You may have heard of qi, this life force that flows through us. You may have seen people doing Tai Chi in the park and things like that. And this life force is actually the underlying principle of all Chinese medicine. It flows through certain meridians in the body, and these meridians have certain acupressure points that acupressurists and acupuncturists manipulate to correct the flow of qi through your body. In the past, and even today, acupuncture, acupressure points are measured by taking someone's pulse, by putting your fingers on someone's wrist and interpreting that. And so you're obviously limited to the person's ability to interpret your pulse. Is it a strong pulse, a weak pulse, hot, fast pulse, all sort of like that. And the person, you're limited by the practitioner's ability to interpret that. This gentleman, he goes by the name of Lighter Chin, like a cigarette lighter, and he's developed a scientific device to measure qi. It is a probe connected to a computer and he's designed a special software algorithm, and it actually measures your qi. And these readings that this probe takes go into a computer and is analyzed by his software. And when it's accurately measured, when this qi is accurately measured with his scientific device, you can assess the cause of the problem. I was very skeptical, and by the way, I'm with Media Shares. Leiter is my client, and he asked me to make the presentation for him today. Now, when I went first to his clinic, he said, I'm going to test you and see. He said, where's your pain? I said, you tell me, where's my pain? So he tested me and he said, your pain is in your shoulders. He was absolutely correct. I have arthritis in my shoulders. And he took me into another room and gave me some pressure points on my back, gave me basically a very detailed massage, and the pain went away for 2 weeks. And he said, I could literally move freely without pain. Right now, if I raise my arms like this, it hurts in my shoulders. But he was able to correct that pain, and most of his clients are repeat clients that have some sort of pain, and they tell their friends, and their friends come, and he's able to take away people's pain, which is a very unusual ability to do that without any drugs, just by touching certain pressure points on the body. There's also something called cupping. He did this to me too. Doesn't that look like fun? It looks pretty scary, I know, but it actually draws blood to the surface and things like that, and it removes energy blockages, he claims, and it certainly helped me because that was part of the process in taking away my pain in my shoulders. So many people, if you're not FDA approved to say this cures something, What we say here is that this treatment is, patients are claiming these things, that it really does help with the pain, and people show up with all sorts of different problems. And again, it is the same as acupuncture or acupressure, except it's being measured scientifically. He has a licensing model that he wants to license this device to the 38,000 acupressurists in the US. And so if only 1% of those, I know that's 1% is a high percentage, but let's pretend for a second that 1% of the acupuncturists in the world, in the US, wanted to license this device for $5,000. His first year revenues would be $1.9 million. The use of those funds would be for further marketing, further development, hiring some people, and covering the expenses of a Regulation A offering. A Reg A offering is something MediaShares specializes in, helping companies get funding through this new mini IPO that allows you to raise up to $50 million even from non-accredited investors by doing a mini IPO, which is much cheaper and much easier than a regular IPO, and it has additional exemptions that an IPO doesn't have. And so that's what we would do. And a lot of startups are using this. Even pre-revenue companies are getting funding from this type of Regulation A offering. And so that's the pitch. Basically, Leiter wants anyone that's interested to come to his clinic. It's in Anaheim Hills. You can take that information or you can see me. He will have a table over here next door shortly. He's got a client this morning, so he didn't come. He's actually helping a fellow who was in a lot of pain, and he said, I'll be there later. So later in the day, there'll be a movie playing and a table over there next door. And I probably have a minute left, so would anybody have any questions? No questions. Okay. Dan, I'm finished. Thank you very much.